What up, everybody? I woke up at 6 a.m. and saw that the previews for Helldivers 2 are finally out. So we're going to watch one, give you guys my thoughts, see how the gameplay is actually looking live. This is the first gameplay we're going to get to see where it's not cut up like to look cool, you know what I mean? It's going to be like raw, more of a raw gameplay type of thing. So I'm really excited to see what this is. What's it? What's it? The second? 6 more days, people. Let's get it going.
2 seems like a great co-op game. I had a ton of fun blasting giant bugs and mechanical soldiers for a few hours in Arrowhead Game Studios'
First
upcoming
person
shooter, calling down airstrikes and screeching with laughter after accidental friendly fire transformed good intentions into hilarious death.
Right there. One thing I haven't seen yet, are there revives like in the first game? Because you know you can get down, you can spam a button to either get yourself up or somebody can just come pick you up. I haven't seen that in this game yet, so I wonder if that made it into the second one.
Much of Helldivers 2 builds on the formula of its 2015 predecessor. You play as ordinary soldiers who ODST drop down onto procedurally generated planets, fighting to defend the dystopian democracy that is Super Earth. Friendly fire is always on. Between that, the satirical Starship Troopers-esque tone the game is going for, and the dangerous alien threats you face, you'll die plenty of times, redeploying on the battlefield as a new soldier ready to give their life for the cause. Prior to each mission, you determine your loadout, including what special armaments and heavy artillery you may want to call in when
this is from the trailer. They're not slick.
Like airstrikes, deployable turrets, and rocket launchers. When the mission is finished, you call in a dropship and defend the landing site until your ride shows up. The big shift between Helldivers 2 and the first game is the perspective. While the original Helldivers was a top-down shooter, its sequel is an over-the-shoulder third-person shooter, with the option to go first-person while aiming down sights. This puts a heavier emphasis on action and ludicrous destruction.
The gunplay's looking pretty solid.
The first game certainly has,
especially aiming down the sights, it looks
by the ability to
natural. It doesn't look like it snaps or anything too like obnoxious.
At a given time, this shift in perspective forces you to make judgment calls without being able to see behind you. Everything is just more frantic and intense when your perspective is restricted by over the shoulder, and it makes missions increasingly nail-biting as a result.
Jesus.
Improvisation
you got it from that.
Been a part of Helldivers' DNA, but Helldivers 2 ups the ante by giving players more dangerous and explosive options, while simultaneously decreasing how much information each player can take in at any given moment.
That is a super good point. I think that's why I like the third person more, is because playing the first one and seeing the top down, you can kind of see and manage what's happening on the battlefield all at once. In this one, you have to rely on your teammates to see the things you can't see, which I think is huge, and it gives you that claustrophobic, impending doom kind of feeling, and you just hope to God that your partner behind you is watching your back instead of everyone kind of managing the same viewpoint. If that makes sense.
Blast for the couple of hours I had to play it. Helldivers 2 feels like playing as a character in something like Alien or Starship Troopers, and not the badass hero characters who survive impossible odds and save the day. You're the background nobodies, getting blown to bits. Each match feels
dang, he survived that?
Our quickest mission wrapped up in about
I'm so glad right there. Oh, I was curious about this too. That there's clambering in the game, so you can climb over stuff.
Our quickest mission wrapped up in about 20 minutes, while our longest took closer to 35. That's a dangerous window of time for someone like me. I've lost hours of my life to games like Apex Legends and Knockout City, where the short match length makes it so damn easy to just say, okay, one more game. I think the coolest aspect of Helldivers 2, though, could ultimately be the Game Master, the omnipresent force in the game that controls the armies invading Super Earth space. As you and your squad complete missions, you'll impact the war effort on the planets you're fighting on, determining whether Super Earth successfully defends its territory.
I'm curious if this Game Master thing is the devs playing the game with you, if that makes sense.
As the game continues post-launch, these efforts will have tangible effects on the makeup of the galaxy, changing where alien armies focus their intentions and adjusting what strategies they deploy during missions. These adjustments are handled by Helldivers 2's Game Master. Similarly to how a game master oversees the campaign of a tabletop game, only instead of handling a group of 4 to 6 friends at a table, the game master here is responding to an entire community of players. Like its predecessor, Helldivers 2 won't feature any moments of PvP. Sure, you can accidentally, or not so accidentally, shoot an...
I think they should add PvP, or at least PvPvE. I think that would be a fun game mode, and especially with how competitive the gaming market is, I think it just adds, it opens up the player base, and it adds for the longevity of the game. I know a lot of people are like, no, this is, if you want PvP, go play something else, play another extraction, whatever it is. But I think it's just a smart move for this, especially with how in-depth the combat seems to be, and how good the AI and the mobs are in this game. I feel like adding another team that you guys are competing against the same thing will make it just that much more fun. You know what I mean? Because if managing that much in combat adds that stress and tension that makes multiplayer games addicting.
Ally thanks to friendly fire, but the entire experience is PvE. This sense of camaraderie translates into the minute-to-minute gameplay too. A player carrying rockets can load them into an ally's launcher.
Love this. Okay, so I was super curious about this too, which I'm glad we're seeing right now. With the two-player guns, you don't have to have somebody reloading your thing. You can actually do it yourself, which I think is huge. It just makes the reload time a lot longer. But I'm glad they took that into account, because I was curious, like, if you were playing solo and you needed one of those types of guns, are you just out of luck or what? But it seems like you can still do it yourself.
Minute gameplay too. A player carrying rockets can load them into an ally's launcher, for example, saving said ally considerable time on the normally lengthy process of reloading. I really like mechanics like this. They add a greater semblance of teamwork to a mission beyond the scope of everyone all shoot the same enemy a bunch. It also adds value to players who want to take on a more supportive role in the game, giving utility to folks who want to benefit the team but maybe don't excel with some of the game's harder-hitting weapons. I hope Helldivers 2 builds on mechanics like this and adds additional options for players who want to play a more supportive role.
We got healers in the game?
Helldivers 2 sounds like it could be a pretty fun game to play, and my time with it has me excited to try the full release. It's way too soon to tell what sort of staying power Helldivers 2 will have, or whether the community will support it as passionately as the one that rallied around the original game.
That's another thing, because I saw that they're not going to have the second faction or the third faction in. At least the people who played the previews haven't seen it yet, which means what he's saying is very viable. So Community 1, we have to really support this game, push out. I've seen a lot like Moggs and Dark Shinobi and Meals, all these people making content, which is really good. But also, that's why I suggested the PvPvE. They see a roadmap to let people know more content is coming, especially as fun as the combat and everything seems. If that's all it has to offer, you need more, because other games are putting out astonishing content every couple months, you know what I mean? So hopefully they get to follow suit and they have the support. But I mean, this game looks like a game that could evolve and change to make it, you know, a hard-hitting one, because there's not really that many third-person co-op action shooters like this. So it has a place. It just has to make sure it puts its feet in the ground and really earns it, you know what I mean?
Industry is stuffed to the gills with popular live service shooters already, so carving out a space is a tricky prospect. But Helldivers 2 seems to be the experience that I wanted Anthem to be. I've been looking for a game to fill that void since
Anthem
BioWare decided to give up on it.
Side note, Anthem's gameplay was amazing. And he's right, this does give that type of vibe. Anthem's problem was, again, content. It had the right formula, had the right world mechanics, gameplay, combat, but didn't have anything to make people want to come back. So this is what I hope this game doesn't do. I hope it's pedal to the metal. The launch is just the beginning. I think a lot of people see the launch as like, oh, it's finally here, let's chill out. It's like, no, you got to start pumping it out now, because now you have people who, content creators, streamers who can play this game for 100 hours in a week, and you have to have something to feed them.
Maybe, just maybe, Helldivers 2 could be it. We'll find out soon enough. Helldivers 2 is scheduled to launch for PS5 and PC on February 8th. To stay on top of Helldivers 2 and the many shooters,
the environments are looking very different,
robust.
robust. I'm glad about that.
Be sure to subscribe to GameSpot.
But I'm sold. Even the sound looks good. But what are you guys' thoughts? You guys liking the previews? What are some of the other previews you guys have seen, and what are your thoughts about it? I think the gameplay I think everything's looking good. I think the biggest thing for this game, the biggest challenge this game is facing is going to be the content. They don't have mechs right out of the gate, which is okay. They're going to come soon, they said. Apparently, they don't have the third faction, so that's like enemy variety is huge in games. Her mission variety is, you know, it's all right. Once again, I'm gonna get the game. The game looks. I already know this is my type of game, so I'm gonna be playing it regardless. But that's one of the things where it's like you have to be able to put out content at a good rate to keep the people invested and to keep your spot secure in the gaming industry. So it's tough. But as always, I'm gonna be covering this game, streams, tips, tricks, funny moments, all that stuff on the channel. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to follow. I'm also streaming on Twitch, YoKels. Tell me you guys' thoughts on this game. Tell me if it. I get this ad out here. But tell me you guys' thoughts in the comments. Are you guys excited for this game? You guys think it's gonna hopefully not flop? I don't think it's gonna flop. But do you guys think it's gonna, you know, be a pivotal gaming moment? Is it gonna keep its niche? Is it gonna stay in the talks? Let me know. You guys getting Helldivers too? As always, stay easy and stay breezy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.